Hey everybody! So I am back with another demo from Steam's Demopalooza called We Are the Plague. I was intrigued by this when I downloaded it roughly 24 hours ago, but I cannot tell you what it's about. The only thing that it signaled to me when it was booting up was it confirmed a WASD um, movement scheme, and that's more than I knew about it when I clicked on it. So, welcome to the prologue. Thank you for downloading and willingness to play our game. Remember, what you see here is not a final version by any means. Take the prologue as a core we develop intensively. We are still working on new solutions, improving existing ones, and would like to ask you for your help. Share your suggestions and ideas with us. Your voice is very important. If you can write a review, let your friends know about the game. Without players, this game won't be finished. Thanks for attention. Have fun. Okay. Happy to be here. Plague. A dangerous phenomenon spreading and difficult to control. An epidemic disease that causes high mortality.
They say the plague is accused of rot. What is true? What is a lie? The only thing I know is
I don't know if I had a subtitles option, but I wish I had taken it if it had existed. 27 years since the birth of the plague. Recremont? I don't know. The Fortress of Vexation. Drip, drip. The blood flows down the flesh. Okay, so just gonna lean into the gore here. Okay, so turn-based combat. Choose the action that suits the situation from a drop-down panel. Okay, that may be a little bit unusual. Attack will make your chosen character attack the enemy unit. Defense will cause the hero to receive reduced damage, but counterattack chance will be lower. Movement allows you to move around during the board during the fight. Back allows you to undo the last move you made. Okay, sounds good. Move close to the guard and attack him. Ouch. That was painful. Okay, so very Darkest Dungeon. Can he see me? Or... Exploration mode, moving out of the fight, similar to the combat mode, is also divided into turns. For now, there are only 2 important commands. Movement is an indication of where the hero is going to move. Defense comes in handy when you know the enemy is close and can attack you. Thanks to defense, when you are attacked in your first turn, all team members will receive less damage, but counterattack chance will be lower. Remember, turns in exploration mode end automatically. Okay. So... there's a game that I absolutely love called Dungeons of Dreadmore, and the movement is pretty much like this. That everything is turn-based. You move in and out of combat. It's really about enemy awareness, and if you can evade enemy awareness or be enough spaces away, then you will. Then you can kind of outrun them. So I'm imagining that this will probably be something similar. Maybe I shouldn't talk so much when it's right in front of me and I can play it. But I just also wanted to say stylistically, very much reminds me of Darkest Dungeon, as well as it kind of hits some just old school CRPG fare. I'm trying to navigate a cat right now, or I would be playing. But it gives me some CRPG, almost like, but of course it's not isometric. It's like literally not isometric. But yeah, just a few thoughts off the bat. This aesthetic is reminding me of something that I can't remember what it is right now. I'm gonna say that this down here is interesting. I just realized. What an interesting choice to animate that. Yeah, I should have maybe defended. Or I'll defend this time. Or is this there on guard? Okay. I would like to register a complaint about this line, but whatever. I'm not here to nitpick, so. No mischief. Cat's back. I'm gonna take all this blood as just where I should go. Actually, I think I want to see what I can do about these folks down here and see if that gets me anything. Get some more time in combat. No sense in avoiding it. Yeah, and this is a dead end, and I don't know what's down here, so that would be easy. Yeah, there needs to be some... Not very, Got my counterattack and was terrible. No, can I not attack this guy? Ranged Hero has just joined your team. Characters of this type have two kinds of attacks. First of them is a basic attack, and it should be the core of your strategy. To attack from a distance, there must be at least one empty field between your hero and the opponent. The second type of attack is based on a white weapon used to counterattack. A white weapon? Not a light weapon? A white weapon used to counterattack. It deals small to none damage. It is worth remembering that characters fighting from a distance have weak armors, so it's better to keep them away from your opponents. Yeah, okay. Conventional. Which is not bad. My kind of preliminary thinking is this game could use some more conventional, and I think it would help give it the polish that I think the idea deserves. But I'll reserve a full opinion for a minute. Okay. Okay, so I can change the order. Let's see here. Had a situation. So, yeah, this does not hit enough. Stay front. Yeah, need to clear line of sight. Great. You can counterattack. The music volume's all over the place. Surely God wouldn't give us more than we could handle. Okay. Believe it or not, I actually turned this down before I started playing, so because there we go. Now we can hear ourselves think. All right, nice. Love a good crit. Okay, damn it. So, is there any looting, or is this really just, like... Yeah, I can definitely see that, there needs to be some refinement in maybe enemy detection. do you heal? Transfigured, Plague's Acolyte, Poisoner. Yikes. These bodies are rough. Okay. There's another CRPG that this reminds me of, but I'm having trouble remembering the name of it because it was very, very old school, took a long time to develop. Inquisitor. And it kind of hits the same notes, lore-wise. Well, okay. Was that a plague symptom? Did people, like, become psychotic? Yeah, I was worried about that. Okay, so I don't really feel the need to replay that, just to see if I could have come out a different way. And I definitely, it was definitely me and not the game that took a minute to get used to the strategy aspect. So, I was not the best player, so don't judge the game by that. So generally, I like what it's trying to do. I like the aesthetic. I think it's interesting that the plague came up in recent years as a subject for multiple games, and before the actual COVID pandemic. So I wonder what was in the zeitgeist that maybe people were responding to. But I mean, I guess taking into consideration game development, we could be talking about like Ebola or swine flu or any of those things that might have got people thinking along these lines. But it's just really interesting to see this kind of this intersection of or this emergence of these games, and the convergence of those games with the current pandemic. But anyway, um, aesthetically, I enjoy it. I wonder, like, it's not. I was getting, like, when I first started, I was getting the impression that maybe this was going to be a little bit more Lovecraftian, and I'm glad that it's not that so far. Um, there are lots of reasons to be ready to completely be over H.P. Lovecraft. And uh, so yeah, I'm glad that at this moment I'm not seeing a lot of that influence here. But I do see a lot of Darkest Dungeon in this. It feels like a more, I mean, Darkest Dungeon is honestly, like, it does a lot of very interesting, darkly beautiful art. And this feels a little bit rougher, but I I enjoy that, and I don't think that that's a mark against it. So um, I'm really interested in that choice of the head in the middle of the bar, um, at the bottom, and maybe if I kept playing, I would see that would start to mean something. If it's just set dressing, though, that's what I would say is quite a bit extra. But yeah, in general, combat seems fine. Um, the you're always, like, movement is turn based as well, and that separates it from combat. And what separates it from combat and regular movement is that you click where you're going or whatever. And I didn't feel that there was that much of a distinction. It felt like I was always in battle, because I was responding to or listening for somebody else's steps. Um, and I think I can see why that other turn-based games along these lines, like Dungeons of Dreadmore, which I mentioned earlier, um, the I can see why they don't tie, or it doesn't tie quite as strongly, um, movement to music. So I think, like, whether it was friendly's turn or foe's turn, the music changed. Um, and the levels were really, really loud. But the types of music, like, there's enough difference in the types of music that that kind of caused a little bit of whiplash. And I enjoyed the aesthetic of the musical aspect that or excuse me, the aesthetic and the uh with the musical emphasis that the game was going for. That kind of hard rock, but spooky, gothic-y sound fits. I do wish that uh, that there was it felt less herky jerky between tunes, or whatnot. And I don't know. I mean, I that definitely feels like demo stuff, you know. And I'm sure that um, there's a lot of work going on to fine tune all of this. I mean, having a big demo expo like this, I can understand why. I mean, especially in a year of a pandemic, that um, the games may be a little bit rougher than they would be otherwise because of the emergencies and the aspects that people have been going through. But anyway, I feel like this game is really earnest and is trying really hard, and uh, I don't know that it reinvents anything. And I think maybe where it's trying to reinvent, like the combat system, is not something. Maybe they should rely on the um, the aesthetics and the story a bit more to set it apart. I will say that I did not enjoy the dialogue and the writing. I understand what it was going for uh, in general as a feeling, but it was incomprehensible, really, and that feels Lovecraftian to me, but it honestly feels like this is just, first draft stuff that is on the screen. So, um, I would focus on telling the story, and I think that, I mean, if this being a prologue, I don't really understand what was being prologued for me. Like, I know that I didn't play to the very, very end, but I mean that that's part of why I don't feel compelled to replay this, is because I don't feel like the story was like that I missed something by dying too early. So I will say that the Poisoner, the third companion that I picked up, to me was pitch perfect for this game, and in that way reminded me of uh, when we're talking about, uh, pathetic creatures who are companions, pathetic psychopathic creatures, Drakengard. Um, the companions in that game, I mean, that whole game, like the whole thing that it was going for was it was really, really messed up. And like the relationships in that game are insane. And there are literally insane characters. I mean, everything from um like evil children to a mother who eats children, to like a brother sister thing that's happening. So there's a lot going on in Drakengard, and it's that kind of messed up that I think that this game might benefit, or these game makers might benefit from studying just a little bit. Um, just to, how do you like? Drakengard isn't even is not that good of a game. It's incredibly repetitive. It's sword collection and leveling up stuff. Like that's literally all you're doing all the time. Um, but that kind of hack and slash, very conventional backdrop, or very like very bare bones mechanic kind of was really was in its dullness, I think helped emphasize how crazy the story was, and that story belonged to that game and those particular mechanics. Like it didn't. So it was literally. It just felt like, in retrospect, it feels like, going around and hacking and slashing. Um, like those are intermissions between incredibly long storylines, for a short game as it is. Like or I didn't mean long storylines, just messed up storylines for how long the game is, and there are like seven different characters that you can follow. um so the so to end that thought, the Poisoner hits the notes that some of the companions, I think there's even a blind companion, um, who operates maybe close to the same way, but it's been a while since I've played it, since I've broken out the PS2. So, but yeah, I think that might be a way to kind of flesh out, like how do you write psychopaths in ways that like are really chilling. Um, and so again, Drakengard was never like game of the year. It was never going to be. But what is interesting about it is the story, not the mechanic. And so I don't want to be the person who says that the mechanic has to be like, I don't like this because it's different, but it just didn't seem like it was working. So yeah, a little bit more of the dose of the conventional in ways that highlight how effed up the setting is that you're creating. But and I'm not saying this as like critique directly to these guys. I could definitely see pre-ordering this if it's I mean, at this moment, I don't know, like 10, $12, but I imagine it's probably 15, 20 at least, maybe even 25. Um, I don't know at this moment, actually. But I could definitely see helping them out or adding it to my wish list and waiting for a sale. Um, but when I go on those kinds of tangents, it's not I mean, these games being in demo, maybe that is useful to somebody. But when I'm going on like that, it's me trying to find, um, trying to make connections in my mind between what's working here and what works elsewhere, and try to just kind of distill, get enough material that I can actually distill down to some sort of essence. So the more things that I'm able to connect, the more I'm able to get more precisely to what ties them together as far as entertainment, but also um, just hitting those areas of the brain that I'm looking for when I'm doing this. So I'm really just going through this for my own sake because I love to talk these things out and I like to distill them. So I definitely don't mean any slights to the game creators if those are taken, or that I'm saying, you know, you guys need to learn how to write or something like that. It's perfectly fine for it to not be to my taste, but if I'm sensing what I was sensing, which is first draftiness and maybe some unsureness about what it's supposed to sound like and what it's supposed to be. And I don't know, maybe this is, I don't know where this game is from, so this may be a localization issue. Can actually look. This looks decidedly not American. So yeah, and I'm seeing like just little typos that suggest that some like this is kind of a in-house effort, or is um yeah, that there's not a this isn't being outsourced to translate things, which I will give it absolute credit for. Too many games definitely use outsourced labor to cut cost, and it really just tears the character out of these games. So I definitely appreciate that they were able to put the name of the person who is translating this game up here. But that does make me wonder, you know, where the rub with the story is. So, um, anyway, yeah. So definitely, like I said, I could see um, uh, latching onto this one. If it's, I would say below $15, but if it's a little bit higher than that, I'd have to pass. But it's not doing enough new for me that I would want that. And while I like the aesthetic, at this moment, I'd have to see how the demo grows for sure. But anyway, so that's demo number 3 from this Steam Demopalooza sale expo thingy dodger. And don't know what's next, but I'm looking forward to it. And see you then.